See if the stream's coming through.
It's on Chris Carnage page, right?
Yep, and it's getting cross-posted.
On Podcasting Network.
Yep, and on Final Score.
Okay.
Podcast City Network. Hey, fans. This is your one and only Chris Carnage, and we are here live for episode 6 of the Chris Carnage Show. And I know it's been a while. It's been, I don't know, maybe a year or so, but, you know, I do things when I feel like it. There's a lot of things going on. As you can see, there's stickers and stuff on here. We do things. We do things. But I do have a great guest, but before I get to him, you need to make sure that you follow all things Chris Carnage. Chris Carnage is going to be a lot more active now that we have all this pandemic nonsense going on, and what better to do than do some podcasting? So make sure you follow Chris Carnage on Facebook at /Chris Carnage Official, on Twitter at Planet Carnage, and on Instagram at The Chris Carnage. So much epicness. But my guest tonight is none other than the man himself, the host of the Everett Lee Show, Everett Lee.
What's happening, man? How's it going, Chris Carnage? Hey, fans.
And look at us. We're back here doing another show together.
I know. What are the odds of that? You see, I did some decorating right behind me there.
You know,
I kind of made...
There's something I see right over there, right to your immediate left. The fans right.
Yeah.
Is that none other than a Chris Carnage poster?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's Chris Carnage. I needed the background to look a little bit more Carnage like. So I had to decorate. Chris Carnage makes everything look good. So
Ooh.
I had to add it to the wall
Oh
here.
man, no truth has, truer has ever been spoken. Let me get my English out today. It's been a crazy week. What can I say?
I know it's been crazy. A lot's been going on. I know it's just been crazy.
Yeah,
And
definitely has been crazy. Definitely a lot going on. A lot of crazy things going on in the world. But before we get to that, we have a great guest. Let's talk to you. What have you been up to lately, bud?
well, lately I've I've been a guest on a lot of shows lately, on a couple shows. If you go over onto the Scoop, which is part of Redline Radio, last Friday night I called in on their show there. It's between 9:30 and 11:30. I called in on that show there and talked about Podcasting Network, letting people know about the great shows and the great content they can check out over on podcasting.net, like myself, Everett Lee, Chris Carnage, and a bunch of other good shows that's on the network. And I just talked wrestling, just talked about what's going on in the world, and it was a great time. It was a great time. And then, of course, I've had, like, this past Tuesday, I had Pro Wrestling Magic commentator Jimmy Baxter on.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he came on the show. It was great. I got in contact with him, and he came on, and for about an hour, 38 minutes, we just talked about everything from wrestling to background on how he got into doing commentary, and it was really great. It went longer than I expected, but it was all good. If stuff goes longer than expected, that's just how it goes, man. That's just how it
That
goes,
is
and
true.
I love it. I love it. I love what I do. I love talking with the guests. I love talking with the people. I love talking with indie wrestlers, filmmakers, actors, actresses. It's just what Everett Lee does. It's just what I do.
Very nice, very nice. And we absolutely love uh, being on this network. I know Chris Carnage loves being a part of Podcast City Network. I know you love being a part of Podcast City Network. I talk to the guys, Chris and Craig, every now and then over their Final Score. They love being a part of the network. We're always trying to do nice, fun, innovative things. Obviously, we're hampered right now, but still, we're always trying to do something exciting, something new, something different, something that other people aren't necessarily doing. So, oh yeah, nice. Looks like my camera just decided to quit on me. Gotta love that. But still, always trying to do something exciting, trying to do something new, trying to see what we can do, pushing the boundaries, and all that good fun stuff. But what kind of stuff do you have coming up here in the future?
Well, just trying to get some more great interviews. That's what I've been trying to do. I just want to get some more great interviews. Reach out to people that I know that I haven't talked to in a while, and try to get new guests that I've not had on before. Looking
Mm-hmm.
at wrestlers, look at the talent that I've not had a chance to talk with. So I'm going through contacts to see who I can get a hold of. And
Right,
then, of
right.
course, in the indie film industry, there's people that I want to get a hold of again, because I want to get their points of view on what's been going on in the world and how they're handling with things, because with this pandemic that's hit us, and I know it's hit wrestlers and filmmakers and anyone
Mm-hmm.
in the entertainment industry really hard. So I'm looking at hitting some of my friends up to see how they're doing, and just talk, and come up with some good conversation on some things. So that's pretty much what I plan on doing.
Yeah, that sounds pretty awesome, honestly. And we're definitely gonna follow you closely. We always do. I love having you on the show. It's always a good time, man. And but I've been hearing some rumblings that you're doing something a little else going on, not necessarily podcast related.
Podcast. What did you hear? What did Chris Carnage hear?
I don't know. I heard something that's a little black, a little dangerous, something something going on somewhere. I don't know. I hear Chris Carnes hears a lot of things.
Oh yeah, are you talking about me being at the last month's Knockout Wrestling show and just happened to catch a debut of someone?
That's
Um,
right.
there's a lot on that I cannot talk about and confirm at this time, because if the cat comes out of the bag on anything with anything that my hand has in Knockout Wrestling, it's you're not going to know about, not unless you show up at Knockout Wrestling and see what happens.
Man, I guess people
So,
got to show up at some Knockout Wrestling then.
Yeah, I can't confirm or anything that's going on right now. I mean, I was at a Knockout Wrestling show, just enjoying it like everybody else. I mean, that's pretty much what I got going on, you know.
Right. We'll go with that.
Yeah.
But you know, it's still great. You're always involved in something, always doing something exciting. But to keep up with Everett Lee and the Everett Lee Show, where can people find it? Where can people find you?
People can find me on social media. You can find me on my profile. I just started about almost a week ago now. Everett Lee finally decided, hey, I'm going to make a profile for myself because Everett Lee needs a profile for himself to separate from that other person that's pretty ticked off about things. But besides that, Everett Lee is on Facebook, and then Everett Lee Show is on Facebook. I have a page there. Hit a thumbs up on there. Twitter at the Everett Lore Scorley, Instagram Everett Lee Show, and of course you can listen to audio portions of my podcast over on YouTube on the Everett Lee Show page there, Stitcher Radio, iTunes, and Podbeam. You can listen to the Everett Lee Show and iHeartRadio. So those are some of the places you can catch the audio version, and video version you can catch on Podcast City Network YouTube page. That's where I upload all my video versions at, except one that I didn't, but that's another different day. So,
oh man, but you know what? That's awesome. It's all great stuff. But you know what? We got a show to do. So let's do the show. Yeah. So the first thing we are going to talk about, obviously, is something that the entire world is dealing with right now, and that is coronavirus, COVID-19. It has gripped the world and has taken us by storm. It's been completely unprecedented in so many different ways. I myself was someone who honestly was a large skeptic when this all started out, but obviously people are kind of getting crazier and crazier about this by the day, to the point where jobs and whole industries are shutting down, including my day job, which I won't discuss here. Has completely shut down as well. So, it definitely is not looking all that great for a lot of people right now, but we'll definitely see what happens. What are your thoughts on this going on?
It's bad. It's bad. I'm pretty much practicing social distancing. With being precautious.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sanitizing. I may have to go to rehab after this is all over for sanitizer. Hello, my name is, I'm addicted to sanitizer, and I love the smell of it. And of course I'm doing one thing with social distancing, so I'm pretty much doing that right there. That's my social distancing for the male population of the world right there.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's what I'm practicing right now. Not going out much, except not less my day job, which I have to with some restructuring going on there, which I'm gonna have to adjust to.
Mm-hmm.
But I just it really does hurt, because I just wish life would go back like it was, but much more in a much positive way and cleaner way, where we get done using the bathroom like our parents told us, wash our hands and not use our left hand, to wipe. So that's pretty much my message there. And just anyone, if you go out, just grab the sanitizer, take it with you, keep one in the car. That's what I've been doing. I keep one in the car. If I have to go out, and when I come back to my car, before I touch anything else in my car, I sanitize my hands. And you just do that. Just stay safe, and if you keep your distance. You cough. Just you guys know what to do already.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't, you've been living underneath a rock. Rinse, wash, repeat, and so forth. So that's pretty much my thing. But yeah, it sucks. The world sucks right now, and I just wish it would get better. I just wish it would get better. And all my friends and family out there, that supports Everett Lee and everything I do, man. Just we're gonna get through this. We get through this, and at the end of the year, when we get through this, I will go live and I will do a Stone Cold beer chug match like
Good old
Stone
beer
Cold.
shower.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that if we get through this. We beat this thing by December, which we probably will already, but I will do it just to say goodbye 2020. I'm going to put you behind me. Let's look toward the future,
Yeah, man.
2021. Do something to talk about my grandkids about, you know. You talk about depression back in my day. We had to fight for toilet paper. You know?
Yeah, that's why I can't wait in 20 years when people ask me, Grandpa Carnage, what happened during the great pandemic of 2020? And I'll be like, man, a whole bunch of people learned how to wipe their butts with something other than toilet paper. So it's gonna be crazy. Me through this whole thing, I've really given into music a lot more than anything, which is why
Yes.
got my trusty Seven Kingdom shirt on. I know Camden Cruz has been watching a bit of the show tonight, but giving into that, trying to give into the network. I've been out of work for a little over a week now, so definitely has not been the funnest, but it's been nice to spend time with the family. If people out there in the world don't know, there are not one, not two, not three, but 4 little Carnages running around. 4 little Carnages. So it definitely becomes a very large task for me and Mrs. Carnage, to the point where we want to pull our hair out. So, totally healthy, I'm sure, to some extent. But, we've been trying to quarantine as much as possible, limit contact with people outside, and just try and make it through this thing the best that we can and see what happens. And whatever happens, happens. And that's the biggest thing, is that no matter what, there's nothing we can do except control how we respond. So making sure we're taking the necessary precautions, washing our hands, making sure we're limiting contact with people, adhering to the 6-foot social distancing, and making sure we're not trying to take advantage of things and put ourselves in positions we don't need to be in. Because I'm not going to lie, I think the sickest thing I've seen so far was a bunch of spring breakers down in Miami and all along the coast here in Florida that have complained about, well, I've been planning for months to come down here and party for spring break. Dude, nobody cares. This is a pandemic. Like, go home.
Yeah.
Stop being dumb. Like, all you're doing is making it worse. Seriously.
I know.
Like,
Yeah, it's messed up. That's messed up the spring breaker, especially down here, man. It's just they come all from all over the place, and I've been waiting for spring break. Well, do it next year. Do it next year. Take time off. Come to the beaches when we don't have something that's gonna make you sick. Just
not even just make you sick, but just put everybody at risk. It's honestly kind of selfish to take that type of an approach and think that, oh, it's going to be okay just because this is what I want to do. And it's like, no, that's not how this works. Like, you need to understand that this is something that is very serious and that needs to be taken seriously. So we're not sitting here just playing piddlywinks and, acting like this is hula rula hoorah. No, this is some ridiculous stuff that's happening. That is real life. This is not a game. So, I just wish people would take it a little more seriously.
Yeah. That definitely. I wish they would too. I definitely would wish they would too. But
you know what though? People are going to do what they're going to do, and sadly, that just is what it is. So hopefully, this will just pass quickly, and we won't have to talk about it so much. But one thing that has sucked about this whole thing is the fact that it has shut down everything. It has canceled live events, concerts, music festivals. And big thing, at least for me, was sporting events and wrestling, because both have kind of fallen by the wayside in a lot of ways. Obviously, wrestling hasn't stopped, but sports across the world have halted to a stop. I'm sorry. But if you go back and listen to episode 50 of Final Score, which you can find on multiple platforms, including podcastcity.net/Final Score, in episode 50, they talked about how this has literally stopped all sports. All seasons have been postponed. XFL has actually canceled their season. They're the first sport to do so. And a lot of people don't know what to expect, especially when coming back. This is going to drastically alter every single league when they start from now on, how they run their leagues from now on. Everything changes now. This is world shattering. So it's going to be something. But like we said earlier, one area it hasn't affected quite as bad has been wrestling. Well, I mean, the best you can say when you're WWE and you're getting rocked by this thing and you can't have fans at any of your events. So Definitely
Yeah.
quite interesting with that. But right now, WWE is taking a stance in their response to the coronavirus, COVID-19, is to have absolutely no live events, none whatsoever. So untelevised house shows, done, none happening. Sorry. They're not also doing Raw, SmackDown, NXT, all the shows, all the TV shows. No fans in attendance, completely fanless. So who are you really wrestling for at that point? You know what I mean? Like me, personally, as a former professional wrestler, you have to feed off that crowd to be able to put over any kind of a match. You don't have the crowd. What are you supposed to do? Like, what are you
Yeah.
supposed to build off of? Where does the excitement mount? You know what I mean? And for me,
Yeah.
that's where the rush came in. That's what made me a better wrestler. That's what made me do better, try harder, go for bigger things, get that feeling, that extra burst I would need, that second win that would get me through. You can't do that when nobody's there. And this has even gone as far now to where we're relocating WrestleMania 36. So what are your thoughts on this? First with the no fans.
The no fans. I've never seen anything like this with the no fans. I've never seen anything like this at a wrestling event, because that's part of being there at a live wrestling event. You get those fans with you that they follow and they go on that journey with you in your match. They feel and take the bumps and everything and absorb everything as much as you do, and having them boo who they hate and cheer who they like, and having and the chance if you do a high spot here, high spot there, and just the interaction and that atmosphere there. And I didn't know how this was going to happen, because a lot of wrestlers and a lot of indie wrestlers and a lot of the talent that's in WWE, being from indie wrestling with that background, I know they've done shows with about 20, like say 20 people, okay, but even if it's like 10 to 20 people, or less, they at least they get that one person out of that group there that can walk away that night and say that was amazing, I loved it. But having the no fans is kind of different, because there's not really any interaction. They're having it there at the Performance Center, and then you got a graphic flash up, or no, it's just it's missing that. It's missing that. I mean, I can watch it. I can sit there and watch it, but with it having that live feel of having the fans right there saying, "Hey," joining and jumping in and just having a good time, it's that element that's missing right there.
Right.
And I hate that it don't have that. And then with WrestleMania 36 being canceled and moved to the Performance Center, it's going to be awkward. It's going to be awkward.
Absolutely. And that's the biggest thing I'm looking at with this whole thing, is that I just don't see how you're going to have WrestleMania without fans. Like, this is the granddaddy of them all, the biggest show of shows, the one that literally is the granddaddy of them all, and you're not even going to have a single fan in attendance. Like, didn't you? I believe before we went on air, you had told me about a shirt you had saw that they're selling about WWE and WrestleMania. What was that? What did the shirt say?
Yeah, WrestleMania 36 shirt. It says, the logo for this year's WrestleMania 36.
Right.
It has that on the front of it, and on the back, how it says like WrestleMania 36. I was there. They have it where it says WrestleMania 36. I was not there.
That's so ridiculous.
I was not there.
And we have some huge matches
funny?
that are on this card that it's just so ridiculous.
Yeah. Let me just add, how at every WrestleMania they announce this year's WrestleMania, like Howard Finkel come out, this year's WrestleMania attendance record. It'd be funny if they sent him out there and he said, this year's WrestleMania attendance record, 0.
You know what's funny? I hope they do it just because it's that funny. Because at the end of the day, it's like, hey, it technically is a WrestleMania record. First time you have not sold a single ticket for WrestleMania. But I feel like this really tarnishes the legacy though of WrestleMania. That's the big thing I see. It's like it's so ridiculous because obviously there's nothing we can do, but
exactly. You know, the highest WrestleMania attendance record was 32. They say it broke WrestleMania 3's record. That WrestleMania 32 is going to be known as the highest. I mean, it's still the highest crowd attendance record, and the lowest is going to be WrestleMania 36.
In 4 years, they went from having the best crowd to having the worst. Way to go, WWE.
I know, but yeah, you mentioned about the match card.
Yes, the match card.
This match card.
Yes, let's go through this match card because honestly, it's interesting. And if you don't follow WWE, then what are you doing? You know, this is a mostly wrestling based podcast. So the big thing is that WWE has announced that WrestleMania is going to take place over not 1 but 2 days, and will be filmed and aired in multiple locations. So it's going to be very interesting how this is going to go down. And there's already been a few leaks, especially concerning the Undertaker match. So excuse me. So there's a lot to go with this, but we're actually going to go ahead. We're going to start at the bottom of this list. Elias versus King Corbin. What are your thoughts on this match, if any? I feel like this is kind of a lot of these matches are going to end up being thrown together, but what are your thoughts?
Pretty much Elias versus King Corbin. I don't even know why this is on here because I mean, I'd like to see Elias beat King Corbin because pretty much the guy has been. The only time King Corbin's gotten any win was against Roman Reigns when they had their feud. Get a win here, get a win there, though. But Roman ended up closing the chapter on that at Royal Rumble this year. You know, when they had fans at the show. But besides that, pretty much, if I'm gonna have to go with someone to win this because I really like Elias, I don't really like King Corbin much. I'm gonna have to go with Elias. And what would be great is if he finishes the match with a guitar shot to the head. But that would be great. I'd love that.
That would be crazy. That would be crazy and awesome. This match I think is not going to be good in any kind of way. This is a very thrown together match as it is. So I expect very, very little from it, which is also why I feel like WWE is not going to do anything right with the finish. And for whatever reason, they will continue to put over King Corbin as he will march his way through WrestleMania and Elias. Excuse me. I have a little cough. I swear it's not Corona. And our next match, though, we have Aleister Black and Bobby Lashley with a supposed surprise return by Lana or whatever it is in the works. But this match is also another match that was thrown together even more last minute than the previous match. So I don't expect a lot from it. Aleister Black, though, is a really amazing talent, formerly known as Tommy End in the indie scene. And Bobby Lashley himself, honestly, is not as bad as he used to be, but he's still not great. So I don't expect a lot from this. I have a feeling it's probably going to be like a 10-minute match, and then Aleister Black will probably go over. What are your thoughts?
Pretty much the same thing, pretty much. This is going to be quick. Aleister and Bobby is going to feud and stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if they end up doing the count out, if they have a count out on this one. Or if Aleister Black, I'm going to have to go with him. I love him more over than Bobby Lashley there because this year, pretty much, they've pretty much ruined the character pretty much at the end of last year to this year. So Aleister Black, man, I love it. Black Mass all the way, baby.
We'll definitely see how it works out. It's going to be interesting no matter what. It's definitely going to be something. So for our next match that we have coming on after that will be for the Raw Tag Team Championships, the Street Profits versus Andrade and Angel Garza. This match actually is kind of intriguing given the kind of push that the Street Profits have been given. And they actually are a pretty good tag team, I feel like. Andrade, honestly, isn't horrible, but isn't great. He's a good manageable talent, and Angel Garza is very new on the scene himself. So I feel this is more of just a way to try and show that they have talent that actually has a little bit of gold around their waist and kind of see what happens. This could be an entertaining match to a certain extent, but it can really go either way. But I do have the Street Profits taking this one.
Yeah, I like Andrade. He's a great, fantastic ring talent, and then having Zelina Vega as as the valet manager to him is just great. But adding Angel to the mix, I mean, that came about because of Andrade failing his wellness, violating the Wellness Act. So they had to do something to Selena instead of putting her behind the scenes. They wanted to keep her on TV.
Right.
So they
right.
pulled Angel over from the other show, not pulling up from the main roster now. It's over from NXT over to the other show. And they had to do something. And now you got Andrade and Angel together, Garza, and both great talent. I love what they do with their lucha libre Mexican wrestling style that they do is just fantastic. Great performers. Street Profits, though, but I feel that Street Profits need to hang on to these tag team titles for a while because they've been over for a while with the fans, and these guys need to have a really good run with the tag titles. I feel that if the Street Profits are going to retain, and they're going to run with these for a while because there's going to be a team that's going to come up later that will eventually take the titles. But this right here is going to be one hell of a match because you're going to see the style Andrade and Angel, because having those styles, similar styles together and as a tag team, they're going to put on one hell of a match. It's going to be one hell of a tag team match. You're going to see some high flying stuff, and especially with Montez Ford, with what he can do. God dang, this is going to be. I'm sorry if any tag match you watch this night on the WrestleMania 36 card, this will be the match that you'd watch right here.
Oh man, tall claim, man, tall claim. But the next match after that, we have Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins. I don't have a lot of faith that they're going to be able to keep the kind of energy they usually would keep in a match like this. These are two guys that were indie guys that feed off the crowd, that are excellent at being able to work the crowd. And with no crowd, I think this is going to end up being kind of a cut and dry kind of match. I think it'll be good, but I think it's going to be very cut and dry. But there actually is a little bit of story, I guess, to this, to say the least. But it's kind of led into kind of a whatever match that. And what's funny, all these matches kind of feel like whatever matches now because there's no crowd. Everything that's going on is kind of overshadowing everything else, and is definitely drawing away from the allure of what WrestleMania 36 is supposed to be. So, it's very sad how this worked out. But with Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins, I think it'll be a really interesting match. I think it'll actually be pretty good, especially given that they both kind of came out of the Performance Center with Seth Rollins going over. You?
Yeah, pretty much same thing. These guys, they tore it up in the indie scene, especially coming from ROH. Both of them have that great history of working with each other in ROH and on the indies, and now working and going back and forth. I kind of been liking this right here with Owens. I love the new approach from Owens going after Rollins and just going back and forth. I actually kind of do like this because I like how Owens is carrying himself now, and I've always liked Kevin Owens, even when he was at those times where you hated him.
Right.
I like him even more now with him being in that position that he's in. I like this is going to be great because pretty much I could see that Owens is going to basically end this with a Stone Cold Stunner, and he's going to call it a day, and that's pretty much it. So man, Owens would be my pick right here.
Man, the original out of nowhere.
Yeah, yeah. Pretty much. These guys are going to they're gonna pretend and put that in their mind that they got a crowd out there, so they're going to keep that aware in the back of their head, like they got a crowd out there, because I feel that they're gonna perform and make it look the best that they can with what they have right there.
Yeah, and then looking at our next match, though, it's going to be quite interesting. You have the 2020 Women's Royal Rumble winner in Charlotte Flair taking on none other than NXT Women's Champion Rhea Ripley, who for the first time ever, you'll have the Royal Rumble winner challenging for an NXT title, which is unprecedented in so many ways. But hey, 2020 has been that kind of year. So what are your thoughts on this match?
Rhea Ripley, NXT UK. Before I'd go to sleep at night, I'd throw on WWE Network, and I would sit there before I'd go to sleep. I'd watch NXT UK. so that's how I kept up with a lot of NXT UK. I'd sit there and watch it before I go to bed at night, because by the time I go to sleep at night, it's on. I'd watch it, and then after it was over with, I'd turn off TV, call it night, and then think about what I watched next day. I'm like, damn, NXT UK, pretty damn good. They got a great damn roster, honestly.
Mm-hmm. They definitely do.
If you've not watched it, you need to check it out, because they got some. Yeah, they do. And Rhea Ripley, she was a force on there, especially with her feuds with Toni Storm and what she's done with NXT UK. So the only next best thing for Rhea Ripley, was come over to the state side and go after the talent that's on the state side, especially with having Charlotte Flair. Okay. Yeah, which is kind of strange, because you figured Charlotte would go after Becky Lynch, but we've already seen that. You figured she would go after Bayley. We've already seen that. Let's go after someone that you've not seen in a match before. And Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair, it's going to be great, but I'm pulling for Rhea to hold that championship, because this one's kind of tough for me, because I think Rhea's going to hold on to the championship, and she's going to be the one that's beaten Charlotte Flair, because I feel Charlotte's already come, and her time being on the top is now just starting to fizzle a little bit. You need to have someone that's fresh, like Rhea Ripley, come in and get more build that fan base with her, because I could see Rhea having a lot of great matches over on Raw or SmackDown, if chosen, whatever show that she goes to later on. Hell, I could pretty much see her just taking on some matches there. Sasha Banks, Rhea versus Sasha, Rhea versus Bayley, Rhea versus Becky, Rhea versus Shayna, again, round 2. There you go.
Honestly, I could absolutely agree with that in every single way, just because it does feel like you're kind of giving her that push. But here's the thing I see happening different. I don't think Rhea Ripley's going to end up retaining. I think Rhea Ripley will drop the title just so she can go to another show, and Charlotte can basically take over NXT and be the main face that it needs right now. Especially given everything going on, it would make sense to try and shift some of that the main roster talent over to be a part of NXT to kind of help give it that fresh life. They've already done it with Finn Balor, so why not do it with Charlotte Flair? So it's going to be interesting to see how they kind of keep this going, but I do see Charlotte Flair going over here at Mania. But with our next match, I think this one could be very, very interesting in a lot of different ways, because with this, we have a SmackDown Women's Championship match that's going to be a 5-way elimination match between the champion Bayley, Sasha Banks, Lacey Evans, Tamina, and Naomi. Now, if this was happening in a normal type of setting where we were going to be in Raymond James Stadium with 70, 80,000 screaming fans, I could see this match being actually a very dark horse match to be match of the night. However, because of the aforementioned issues that we have with coronavirus, I don't see that happening, and I think this match will actually end up fizzling and kind of be a little bit of a slot fest until the end. Excuse me, because I feel this match had a little bit of build, especially with all the intertwined storylines. Tamina's kind of the most random one to be even in this match, but there's some kind of history, whether it be Sasha and Bayley, whether it be Naomi and Bayley, Sasha and Naomi, Lacey Evans and Bayley, Sasha and Lacey Evans. There's a lot of history all the way around, so this could have a lot of emotion in it, but at the end of the day, this will come down to, I believe, Bayley retaining the title. What are your thoughts?
Pretty much. I'd like to see Lacey Evans get it though, but maybe they may end up doing the Sasha Banks and Bayley angle again, where they go after each other. That's pretty much what I see that happen there. I could definitely see that happening, where you have Bayley retaining and then them basically continuing on that story with Sasha, because they have a history. And pretty much everyone in this match has a history with each other, like you said. But I'd love to see Lacey Evans get a hold of the SmackDown title, because I feel like she can, the SmackDown Women's Championship, I feel that she can do a lot more with it, because she is over with fans, And with her being over with the fans, I feel that she could bring back some prestige to this title. But they may just keep it on Bayley, her retaining, and then her continuing and feuding and going to that storyline with Sasha. So Bayley retain. Yeah, I'm right there with you. Bayley retaining though.
Yeah, definitely could be good. Definitely could be good. For whatever reason, I have now my mic not working in one of our different setups. You know, you gotta love technology, no matter what you do. But see if I can get this to pop up real quick. No, well, you know, life goes on, right?
Yeah,
there we go. Now I'm back. Okay. See, just a little technical difficulties. Why we started a little late, but you know, it's always something we're having to deal with. Gotta love it. It's always a work in progress. But still, with everything going on, it's still going to be an interesting show, especially with the next match. We're going to be looking at the man herself, Raw's Women's Champion Becky Lynch, taking on Shayna Baszler. And this is another match I think has had a very poor build. Becky Lynch has honestly kind of circled the drain a little bit, not because of her own fault, honestly, but it's just the women's division overall has kind of grown stale. I think that's why you kind of see this infusion of NXT women like Shayna Baszler and Rhea Ripley coming in here and trying to infuse it a little. This match, though, because again, with how they built it with Shayna Baszler and her miraculous domination at Elimination Chamber, I feel it's kind of left her in a position of doubt. People don't believe it. So this match is going to have a lot of bad undertones to it. I think it could be entertaining. I think it could be decent, but I don't think it's going to be that great. And Becky Lynch is going to end up retaining the title.
Yeah. Yeah, Shayna Baszler, she pretty much, it's pretty predictable. They want her to win that championship, and they would probably pretty much do like a Roman thing where basically it's like, we don't care what the fans want. We're going to take the strap off Becky and we're going to put it on Shayna, and that's what's going to happen. That's the pretty much the angle that you would do that at. But however, having Becky hold on to the championship, another match, I can see Shayna, because going in this match, I'm going to have to pick Shayna and just go with Captain Obvious here. But you do pull up a good point with Becky retaining and carrying on with it, though. But I feel Becky's run for the whole year, that's great. But it's time for someone to take that belt and go with it. And I'm going to Shayna with this one, man. Just go with Captain Obvious.
Right.
Sorry. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man. I tell you what, though, there's still a lot of interesting things with Mania this year. It's especially because I feel like we're having some interesting matches that could be really, really good that people aren't going to be able to witness unless you watch it on WWE Network, including our next match, a last man standing match between Randy Orton and the returning Hall of Famer Edge. This match is honestly my pick to possibly be match of the night. I think this match is going to be exciting in so many ways, and it's going to be great to see Edge, who has not wrestled in a singles match since, what was it, WrestleMania, oh my goodness, 26?
Yeah. 2011.
Or sorry, yeah, it was 27. So
yeah, 2011. Yeah, that's the last time he wrestled, man.
Yeah, so yeah, WrestleMania 27 when he wrestled, who was his last match against? Alberto Del Rio for the World Heavyweight title, which he won. So it's definitely going to be interesting. And Randy Orton, being the veteran himself, I'm sure requested this match when they knew Edge was going to be coming back. So it's going to be interesting to see how this works out. I think this match will steal the show. I think it will be amazing. These are two very competent veterans that are always at the top of their game. Edge, having been able to recover over the last 9 years, will be utterly fresh. Randy Orton has been able to get a new lease on his entire view of wrestling, so he will be in it, and this match will steal the show. And I think it's going to come all the way down to either a spear or into an out of nowhere RKO. But I think Edge will end up taking this one home.
Yeah, Edge, give it to Edge, man. I mean, look at everything. Look at everything this guy's been through. Look what the hell he's been through.
Yeah, it's been absolutely crazy.
Yeah, and him coming back after 9 years and having his first match with Randy Orton, good opponent. You didn't give him anyone that could do a high spot every 5 minutes. That's great. I love that because Orton can do a certain degree with this, and Edge can bring a certain degree to this. And yeah, this is great. This is great. These guys can wrestle in front of a group of blind people, and the blind people would cheer and call it entertaining because these guys are going to be great.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that. This is going to be the match that I am looking forward to. When Edge showed up at the Royal Rumble, I was in awe as everybody else. And yeah, I'm glad he's back, and he's beating the odds. He's walking living proof, man. This guy's walking living proof that you can beat the odds no matter what. And he's gonna go out on his terms, not anybody else's terms. And the story with Orton on this is just gold. It's gold. Last man standing. Edge, man, he's gonna spear Orton to hell, and he's gonna win this one, man. He's going to. Edge is who I'm picking. I'm an Edge head.
Yeah, it's going to be a great match, but sadly this match is going to be followed by a horrible match that shouldn't be happening altogether, and that is John Cena versus Bray Wyatt, The Fiend. This match should not be happening in any way, shape, or form. First off, John Cena's a part-timer. No need to be even having this match to begin with, and that's something that's kind of indicative of this show is that you have a lot of part-timers in the 4 main matches of this show. And you could even say Edge is a part-timer, but at the end of the day, Edge is just doing this to kind of finally end his career the way he wanted. John Cena, you've had plenty of chances. Undertaker, you should have ended it years ago, and Goldberg, just please go away. So you have John Cena and Bray Wyatt, a wasted spot for Bray Wyatt, who ended up losing the title to Goldberg, which should never have happened because it completely destroyed the character of The Fiend. And now you're having him take on John Cena. And realistically, I don't think it doesn't even matter what we think how this match is going to go. Bray Wyatt's going to go over because now they need to try and build him back up to be able to try and push for a title after WrestleMania. So this match is going to be utterly ridiculous. It could be decent since John Cena is fresh, but honestly, I don't expect a lot from it. And like I said earlier, Bray Wyatt for the win.
I don't know how he's gonna win because he can't see his opponent because there's no crowd there. I don't know how Bray's gonna win. Is he fighting air or what?
Oh man, it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah,
you're gonna have a freak monster on one side and nobody on the other.
He's pulling a oh damn, I forgot the guy's name though, but I'm just all joking aside there. I thought it'd be a good spot to put that in there. It's just like I'm still trying to figure out in the Fast and Furious 9 who Dominic Toretto's fighting, so I'll let you know when I get to that. But besides that, The Fiend, come on. The history, WrestleMania 30, John Cena versus Bray Wyatt. We know who won that one.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. Okay, Cena WrestleMania 30, he beats Bray Wyatt. 31, he beats Rusev. Okay. Cena, you need to go in there, put on match, do your 5 moves, and I was going to say get the crowd riled up, but there's no crowd. So go in there, put your 5 moves on, let The Fiend come in and just take it home with the Manimal Claw and then call it like that.
That's right.
Dude over, man. Put him more over than what he is. Has John Cena actually lost a WrestleMania match? I'm trying to remember. He probably
he lost to The Rock. What are you talking about? He lost to The Rock at WrestleMania in Miami at WrestleMania 28.
Yeah, that's the only one that he's lost, basically, right?
No,
he's pretty
lost
much.
More than that. Now you're making me wonder.
At WrestleMania. Yeah, I'm wondering about it too. We'll pretty much say this.
Oh, and he lost to. Let's not forget, John Cena did lose to The Undertaker at WrestleMania 34.
Yes, he did, and 2027, he lost to The Miz thanks to The Rock. Okay, he's about.
Yeah, in 27. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
The match got restarted. Rock came in there and he rock bottomed him.
Yeah, he's
and
had
The Miz
His total WrestleMania record is 10-4.
10-4. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
10-4. Okay. 10-4.
Because don't forget, but he has won. He won his debut at WrestleMania 2 against Big Show, so that was always big. But yeah, 10-4. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, pretty much Cena. You pretty much let the Fiend put the mandible claw on you, and then after you're done, get back up and go back to Hollywood. And when the film industry recovers from this pandemic, give us some more movies because
we're gonna need it.
You're doing great in movies. So yeah, I'm the Fiend all the way.
Definitely. Now in our next match that we have though, it's gonna be quite interesting how this one's gonna end up playing out. This is one I do not have a lot of faith in, sadly, even though AJ Styles is in it. But it will be Undertaker versus AJ Styles. But get this, it's going to be a boneyard match. Now this match, hold on, give me a second, was one of those that was leaked to be one of the random location matches because they do believe this will be taking place in a cemetery or graveyard of some sort. So definitely going to be interesting how they pull this off. But because of the gimmickiness of it, it really is going to remind me of that Randy Orton Bray Wyatt spot where they ended up at the Wyatt compound. So I don't have a lot of faith in how this match will go, and I think AJ Styles will go over. What do you think?
AJ Styles. No, it's WrestleMania. It's Undertaker.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Undertaker.
How'd that work against Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns?
Well, yeah, that happened though. But I'm sorry. AJ is phenomenal. No pun intended. But when it comes to WrestleMania, I put everything behind it. Yeah, okay. Lesnar broke the streak. I was shocked like everybody else. Roman basically beating Taker there. I wasn't surprised with that though, but come on. Taker, WrestleMania. I'm sorry, I'm old. I'm going with the dead man. Dead man's gonna win this one. I'm going to be surprised. I'm sorry. I'm a fan of the Undertaker, man. I am a fan of the Undertaker. With his wins or loses and stuff. I feel it when he loses. I just like, damn, Taker lost. But I basically just hope for the next year he comes back and whoever he face, he regains that.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be crazy.
Yeah, I've been a fan of him for 25 plus years. So, yeah, Taker, that's my man.
Man, that's going to be crazy. Going to be crazy if that's end up being what happens, but we'll see how it works out. But in our one of two main events, we have Universal Champion Goldberg, who shouldn't be champion, versus Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. Now, this match will be for the strap, and I think this whole match is set up literally to put over Roman Reigns because Roman Reigns has wrestled and beaten the best there is and all this, and who better than Goldberg, who made The Fiend look silly. So this match is probably going to be better than when Goldberg suffered a concussion and wrestled Undertaker. But this match, I think, will have kind of a back and forth aspect to it. It could be somewhat interesting. I think it's going to be really a battle of spears. I'll bet you money they do a double spear spot somehow. And we'll kind of see that back and forth nature. But no matter what, I think Roman Reigns will end up beating Goldberg and walking out of WrestleMania 36 in the Performance Center as Universal Champion.
I'm right there with you. I'm definitely right there with you. And then we get to hear Michael Cole repeated about 100 million times. The big dog, the big dog,
vintage
dog. I am sick. I am sick of that. The big dog. But that's Michael Cole's thing. Like JR's thing was Stone Cold. So I get it. But yeah, Goldberg is going to put Roman over. And it's basically going to be like the passing of the spear. Torch. Something like that, right? Yeah, not Goldberg. Goldberg's going to walk into the Performance Center with the strap, and Roman's going to walk out with it. That's basically what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen there. You're going to see Roman Reigns become the Universal Champion. Mm-hmm. And I think they went that route was because they didn't want to do anything to hurt the Fiend.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I mean? They didn't want to. They didn't want to do anything though. But I would have liked to seen the Fiend versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, and I like to seen the Fiend squash Roman Reigns. But that's their guy. That's still their guy,
Mm-hmm.
and they're gonna put the strap on him. But besides, I mean, he's been through a lot.
He really
Roman's been
has.
through a lot, and I I like to, honest. I hate to say it though, but with him defeating leukemia and coming back from what he's done, a lot of people were like, just give him the belt, and
Mm-hmm.
pretty much what they're gonna do. They're gonna give him the belt, and let him run with it. After everything this poor guy's been through, outside battling leukemia and being gone for so long, coming back and getting cleared to come back to the ring. So
Mm-hmm.
pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, I'm not too surprised by that. And, honestly, with him being able to rebound, he kind of deserves it at this point. I just wish they could have done it without burying the Fiend the way they did. But, it is what it is. But there is one last match left on the WrestleMania card. That is none other than the main event between 2020 Men's Royal Rumble winner Drew McIntyre and WWE Champion Brock Lesnar. And it's this match, honestly, I think could be really good. They seem to actually have a decent chemistry together. It's just, oh yeah, there's no crowd, so I wonder how that's going to affect the match overall. I think Drew McIntyre definitely will bring it regardless, as will Lesnar. I just hope this doesn't turn into one of those ridiculous style squash matches where either Lesnar or McIntyre end up squashing the other and going over in 30 seconds maybe. So as long as we don't have one of those matches, I think this match could be actually good. But anytime Brock Lesnar has wrestled recently, it's been a straight squash match. So I don't have a lot of hope. But I think what will end up happening, because Brock Lesnar typically takes a little time off after WrestleMania, is Drew McIntyre will go over and win the WWE Championship.
I agree with you right there, all the way. McIntyre. That was pretty much the guy that I've kind of picked into the new year with everything that's going on with him and the change in the direction they were going to go with McIntyre for the Royal Rumble. That was my pick right there because seeing what they were doing with him,
Mm-hmm.
little stuff here and there up to the Royal Rumble, I said to my wife, I said, that's the guy who's going to win the Royal Rumble, and he deserved it. He deserved it because look at where he was back then, get released, then leaving the company for a long time, for a few years, going around the world and honing his craft better than what it was previously.
Mm-hmm.
And when he first came in WWE, he was Vince coined him as the chosen one. So at a young age, that's going to go to your head.
Absolutely.
And then once you get your head out of your ass, and then you see what you lost because of where you were at, and then go and develop and become more of a rounded character and wrestler, and then come back to a company, and then get that shot to become and get that championship you never did get. God, that's a story right there. That's a comeback story like Rocky.
Mm-hmm.
It is. It is. I love to see basically. Hey, how you doing? We're doing a podcast here. Mrs. Everett coming in there, but I'd love to see. I'd love to see basically. Yeah, I'd love to see Drew McIntyre win this one. He's my pick. I'm definitely right there with you.
Yeah,
Definitely right there with
definitely.
you.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. We'll see how a lot of it works out. But WrestleMania, it's definitely going to be undergoing all kinds of insanity given how this situation could play out. We'll definitely keep more. The future of WWE, I'm sure, is going to be kind of murky, and it's all going to come down to coronavirus and how a lot of it will pan out with COVID-19 across the world. So I'm sure they're waiting just like everybody else to be able to get back at it. But we're going to go ahead and switch gears over to another big wrestling promotion still trying to make it happen. That's none other than AEW. They've been hit by the coronavirus as well, having fanless shows, relocating all of their future events to Jacksonville into a closed set with no fans. However, AEW, though, has been doing it more interesting than WWE, changing camera angles, trying to find ways to make it fresh, getting wrestlers in the crowd to try and make things interesting. And, of course, let's not forget the debut of Matt Hardy. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, delightful. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah, basically that's what I want to do when AEW comes on.
Delete.
Delete WWE. In the words of Broken Matt Hardy, they have found the perfect vessel to hone in on the hearty of AEW to enlighten and entertain the crowd of nobodies that will bring forth the new era in viewing entertainment. That's how I look at
You do that too well, sir.
I know, I do. I practice for the mirror. Someone told me I should do that, so I took their advice.
Oh, that's too good. But I'm not going to lie, though. These shows have still been entertaining. They've been able to carry promos well. I loved Matt Hardy's debut. A lot of people have been kind of crapping on his promo that he cut, but I thought it was great, too. So it's going to be interesting to see how Matt Hardy kind of fits in with AEW. I think he'll fit in beautifully. I think he'll have some really good matches. And we'll definitely see how a lot of it's going to end up playing out. But, man, AEW, though, still suffering everything that WWE is right now. They're just lucky they don't have any big pay-per-views coming up. Pretty much everything pay-per-view wise has been postponed. So they'll still, I think, plan on doing some of them that have already been scheduled, especially with matches. But a lot of things are going to be taking place mainly on AEW Dynamite. So it's going to be interesting to see how things kind of play forward and works out for AEW. I know right now, though, given that they don't have anywhere near as many assets or talent as WWE, that it's going to be a little bit easier for them to weather the storm, especially seeing how their backer has a little bit deeper pockets than Vince McMahon. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see how it works out.
Mm-hmm. It is. And I'm glad to see Matt Hardy. They're utilizing him because they weren't doing nothing WWE with him. And the last thing I can remember that anything that Matt Hardy did in WWE was he had a match with Randy Orton, and Randy Orton took his ass out, and that was it. He was gone. Chaired, whatever it is, ta-tow. That's it. And
one more time.
Yeah, ta-tow. Pretty much. If I had my soundboard up, man, I'd give you some better, but.
Oh, that's too good. But it's going to be interesting to see how it kind of works out for them. AEW has really been trying to make it happen regardless. Jericho and Cody Rhodes and the Bucks and all of them have really been putting in a lot of work when it comes to AEW and trying to form this into something that's going to be realistically enjoyable by the fans. So yes. I still think they're going to have some longevity, and I think they'll end up weathering the storm probably a little bit better than WWE, because I feel like right now with WWE, their image is taking a huge hit with having the Move Mania, with how they worked or didn't work with the city of Tampa Bay, with trying to deal with the event and all the emerging issues with coronavirus. So, and now you're having WrestleMania with no audience. That one has to hurt more than anything, especially for me. So it's going to be interesting to see how these new Wednesday Night Wars continue and how much pressure AEW can put on WWE. But at this time, for us here as part of Podcast City Network, we do actually have an announcement that we have to make. All future live PCN events are now canceled. We had some events that were coming up that we were going to be a part of. Ones we haven't even announced yet. Some I think we did, including the City Limits Tap Room 4th Annual Backyard Burger Battle. We will no longer be a part of that event, given the coronavirus epidemic, or pandemic, I should say. So with all of that taken into account, we will not be holding any of our future planned events, nor will we be planning any future events until this pandemic has passed. We definitely do not want to put any of our wonderful fans at risk. We don't want to put any of our great hosts at risks. And neither do we want to put any of the ownership at risk. So we definitely apologize to everybody that this has had to go down this way, but in light of the current events happening around the world and by the urging and direction of the CDC and other governmental bodies, we think that this is the best course of action at least until this pandemic is over. Once this is over, obviously we will go back to full strength and regular operations, and we'll try and bring you the best entertainment that we can from all the great podcasts that are a part of Podcast City Network, and try and keep things going from there. So we'll definitely see how it works out. Obviously, it's not what we wanted, but it is what's best for everyone. It's what's best for business. So we'll definitely see how it goes, and we'll definitely keep you guys updated. Make sure to stay up to date on all things Podcast City Network by going on to their Facebook page at facebook.com/Podcast City Network, on Twitter at Podcast City Net, or on their website at podcastcity.net. Definitely make sure you go on there and get all the latest and greatest news, especially with the ever evolving and fluid situation known as coronavirus COVID-19. So definitely make sure you keep up to date with those, and we'll try and weather this storm together. Then that's the big thing, is that no matter what, we are in this together. Do you have anything to add?
Yes, I do. I've been hosting a watch party since you've been live, and I want to give a shout out to David C. Russell, Deathmatch Russell podcast, and I want to give a shout out to Sunny, the California girl, Patricia Summerlin from Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling, the original Glow. I want to give a shout out to her. She said, "Yep, just got bored and did pics after my facial penguin mask and doing my roots today." She cleaned house again, and what else now? A glass of wine and watching you. So I want to give a shout out to her jumping on here to the Chris Carnage Show and watching Chris Carnage and Everett Lee. And
yes, we definitely appreciate you.
Yes, we definitely do. We definitely do. I'll hold my drink up to you there, Patricia. You hold that glass of wine.
I think mine's empty. But
and
still, we thank you so much.
And everybody else on my watch party, I've been hosting here since I've been on, and my wife is.
She giving the eye yet?
No, breaking news. Check this out. Roman Reigns out of WrestleMania 36 Universal match with Goldberg. From comicbook.com right now, breaking news.
That's right. You're hearing it here first. Breaking news. Wow, that's insane. Roman Reigns will not be a part of WrestleMania and is pulled from the card. Did they say why?
All right, I'm going to read this. This source right now, breaking news, is coming from comicbook.com. You can see right there. All right, Roman Reigns will not be facing Goldberg for the WWE Universal Championship at WrestleMania 36, according to a new report from Ryan Satin of Pro Wrestling Sheet. According to Satin, Roman, quote, didn't feel comfortable doing any more of the Performance Center shows during the coronavirus pandemic.
Wow.
And to his immune system being compromised from his battle with leukemia last year. Satin added that WWE will choose a replacement for Reigns and respected his decision to step away. This marks the first WrestleMania Reigns has not been a part of since WrestleMania 28.
Well, I guess we could probably expect. What did Patricia say? I'm sorry.
Not surprising.
Yeah, it's definitely not surprising. Yeah, that's definitely some shocking and breaking news. I bet you money now that there will be some type of tournament or multi-man match held tomorrow on SmackDown to determine a new number one contender. This is definitely unprecedented breaking news here on the Chris Carnage Show, episode 6. Very, very shocking and surprising news to hear that Roman Reigns is pulling himself out, but very understandable. Maybe he's watching the show and he took some of our warnings. You never know. So he's pulling himself from the card voluntarily so he doesn't compromise himself after battling leukemia. Yeah, definitely send him a bottle of hand sanitizer. You might need it. You kill me so much. But this is definitely breaking news. So this again will affect the card for WrestleMania. Yet another thing that Vince McMahon and the rest of WWE will now have to deal with. So definitely going to be interesting going forward. Man, so crazy.
I know. And she added, she says, and some other others may just saying because they have a few low aluminiums, or I'm probably saying that wrong, on the women's division, just saying. So there wouldn't be a shock there if something happened on the women's with the women's card too. So people pulling
Very
out,
true.
maybe, that people could be pulling out the last minute. I mean, I agree right there. You don't know.
we could possibly see a lot of that happening with this event. So don't be surprised if this does kind of happen over the course of the next week. WrestleMania is not for another week and a half, roughly, a little less. So between now and April 3rd, you'll probably see a lot of this kind of thing possibly happen. So it's going to be interesting. We could see this whole card change as we go forward.
Yeah, that's booking. That's booking, right? I mean, for being a former worker, you show up to an event, you're gonna be facing this person, and then when you come there, all of a sudden, within the last minute, you're facing this person, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
And I've had it happen to me. I remember showing up to a show one time, and I had been scheduled to wrestle a certain person for upwards of 6 or 7 weeks before I even got to the venue. I was 20 minutes out from the venue and got the call that my match changed. Never knew the person, met the person, seen the person work ever before. Still ended up having a great match, but things like that happen in the industry. So as a professional, you have to do what you got to do. So this is how it is sometimes.
Exactly. And Patricia added that we will see. I know I would not wrestle with this being in our world. So
absolutely, Patricia. Absolutely.
Absolutely. We agree with you right there, 100% there. I mean, with everything going on in this world and stuff, all we can hope is just it gets better and we get through this, and we look back at the end of the year at this and be like, by God, we got through it. We got through it together.
By God.
And let's look forward through 2021, because I'm already looking forward for 2021.
Yeah, we might as well, because this year's already taken a hit and we're only a quarter in. So definitely not looking all that great. But Podcast City Network, though, is definitely going to be there the rest of 2020 and 2021. So definitely, if you are holed up in self-quarantine, trying to wait this thing out, need some entertainment, definitely check us out on Facebook at /Podcast City Network, on Twitter at Podcast City Net, and, of course, on our website at podcastcity.net. And we'll try and bring you the best entertainment that we can. But we thank all of you for joining us this evening for episode 6 of the Chris Carnage Show, the triumphant return in 2020. And thank you so much, Everett Lee of the Everett Lee Show, for joining us this evening for episode 6 and coming and talking with us. We definitely are going to try and have you on again, or maybe I'll have to meander on over to the Everett Lee Show, and we'll have some more fun again, man.
Yep. Come back over to the Everett Lee Show where you got your start at.
That's right. all them years ago.
Yep.
Oh, man. But thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. I am Chris Carnage. Make sure you follow all things Chris Carnage on Facebook at /Chris Carnage Official, on Twitter at Planet Carnage, and on Instagram at The Chris Carnage. I'm always doing something crazy and insane, so definitely make sure to give me a like, give me a follow. Definitely check out the things I'm doing, because it's always something happening. So definitely, until next time, I'm Chris Carnage. That guy's Everett Lee. And you just watched the Chris Carnage Show. Have a great night, fans. Podcast City Network.